Hi, this is Ruben Lerner, and welcome back to my Python Standard Library video explainer series. This time, we're going to talk about dictionaries. D equals A1, B2, C3, D4, E5. I've made a big one for now, big exciting dictionary. So if I want to get all the keys out of a dictionary, I can say d.keys. Notice this is not a list. It's a dict.keys object. Well, what can I do with this? Can I say for one item in d.keys, print one item, let's see, end equals space. Yeah, I can do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's no reason to do that because you can just say for one item in D. Whoa, one item in D. And that'll work exactly the same way. So if you're iterating over a dictionary, do not iterate over d.keys, just iterate over D because that's going to give you the keys back as well. In the same way, don't say is C in d.keys. You can just say is C in D. And maybe you didn't see it. This is way faster. Actually, this is just considered more effective and efficient and also more Pythonic. So where would you use d.keys? Can you grab an index from it? Can you say d.keys of like 3? No, you can't. It's not subscriptable. You can't use it in that way. So really the only reason you're going to want to use d.keys is if you want to get all the keys and do something with them. Maybe turn them into a list or turn them into a set, although you don't really need to do that because they're already sort of kind of a set. Or if I say list of d.keys, now I've got the list and now I can maybe add to it, remove from it, and all sorts of stuff like that. It's also useful just to sort of see the keys. When I'm developing and when I'm debugging, I like to use d.keys to take a look at what's in my dictionary. But how often do I actually use it in my programs? Not too often. There's a similar, and I would say parallel in more ways than one, method called d.values. And here it is actually useful to use for searching, because you can't actually search for a value in a dictionary. If this is my dictionary and I say is 5 in D, the answer is going to be no. It's not there, because the in operator only looks at the keys, it does not look at the values. In order to look at the key, in order to get the values, you have to go through the keys normally. So I don't want to iterate over every single one of the keys, just in order to get the values and find the values there. So instead I can say it's 5 in d.values, and we're not talking super efficient here, because it's going to take time to go through each of the elements. It's going to be what we call O of n in terms of the speed, but it will actually work and it lets you look through there. And the same way we can do for one item in d.values, print one item and equals space. And now we can print out all the values that are there. I could similarly have done all sorts of other things, where I could say here, list of d.values. Right, oops, sorry, d.values actually helps to put the parentheses there, right? Or I could even go so far as to say, stir x for x in d.values, and then I have string values of them, and I can do a join on them together. Or I could even get rid of the square brackets and use a generator comprehension there, and that'll work just as well. And I'll just indent it, not because we have to, because it's nice to. All right, so that's keys and that's values. But the really powerful and, in my opinion, useful method from this trio, keys, values, and items. Items is great. So d.items returns, it returns a dict.items operator. It returns a dict.items data structure. You can think of it as a list of tuples. And in fact, in Python 2, it was a list of tuples. But if you have a really large dictionary, that's going to return a huge, huge, huge list of tuples, and you don't want to use memory. The whole point of dictionaries is that we don't have to worry about that sort of thing. So dict.item objects contain within them all the keys and values, at least in theory or potentially, but they're iterators. So they don't really contain them until you actually ask for them. So if I want to, I can say for t in d.items, say print of f string of, key is t0 and value is t1. And sure enough, we'll get our keys and our values. But that seems kind of stupid, right? I'm going to get a tuple here, and I have to do 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Well, we can use unpacking in Python to say instead for key value, because we know that we're going to get back 2 element tuples. And so then I can just say key is key, and value is value. And sure enough, this works exactly the same way. And this is my preferred way to use items. Now, if you're coming from Python 2, you might remember that there was an iter keys, iter items, and iter values. There were separate methods for keys, items, values, and iter keys, iter items, and iter values. And the difference was that the shorter names, the normal names, would return lists, and the longer names, the iter names, would all return iterators, and that would save you in memory. But in Python 3, just about everything that in Python 2 returned a list returns an iterator, and that's true here as well. So we no longer have iter keys, iter items, iter values. It's just keys, items, and values, and that's already going to return iterators for us. I use d.items all the time when I'm iterating over a dictionary. I find the fact that I can use key and value as actual variables inside my loop to be really readable and useful, and I do it all the time. And just remember that you're always going to give back tuples there. Now, just sort of to put a sort of a bow on it, remember that we can create a dictionary from a list of tuples. So if I say list of d.items, I'm going to get this back. It's a list of tuples. And what if I say dict of list of d.items? I've now created a new dictionary whose values are the same as what's in d, but it's not the same dictionary. So if I say here, d2 equals that. So is d equal to d2? Yeah, all of their keys and values are the same. But d is d2. Are they actually the same thing? Are they the same object in memory? No, they're not. One is a copy of the other. All right, I hope that this helps you with iterating over and grabbing data from your dictionary. I'll be back soon with more installments of my Python Standard Library video explainer series.